Hey, this is Sherry King doing another video dealing with frequently asked questions about braid locks. One of the common questions that I've gotten a few times from people is basically kind of asking me on a personal level about the size of my locks. A lot of times when people show an interest in braid locks, they are showing an interest in braid locks because they feel that braid locks will give them a similar appearance to sister locks. And although I do not promote braid locks as such, but that is something that a lot of people just kind of pick up on their own. So I want to address that real quickly here. Now, in terms of the size of my locks, when I first started locking my hair, and if you've ever seen my journey, from when I first went natural and I first did my big chop and first started locking and all that, which you can find if you go to naturalfreedomjourney.com. But if you've seen those pictures, then you'll know that my locks were a lot smaller when I first started. And when I first, decided to lock my hair, I wanted sister locks, and I wanted that small, real skinny look with my locks at that time. And so, but at that time I also couldn't afford the cost of sister locks, and so I did some research online, and there was a young lady on a natural hair discussion forum that was very popular at that time. It's no longer in existence. But, I mean, we must have stayed on the computer for hours, going back and forth, me asking her tons and tons of questions, about her hair, because she was telling me that she had started her locks with very, very thin braids, and she maintained them with by palm rolling them. And so, she was actually the person that introduced me to the whole concept of braid locks. And I just kind of took it from there and made some modifications as far as the maintenance part of it, because those of you that know me or know anything about braid locks the way that I have, taught it or whatever in my ebook, you know that I teach maintaining it through using a latch hook technique. So anyway, that's why I started my locks that way, because it was going to give me what I felt to be the similar look and versatility to sister locks. But at that time, like I said, I wanted my locks to be very, very thin, really undetectable that they were locks. People would know they were locks, of course, but I wanted them really, really small. And so over the years, and I'll admit to you that when I first started, thicker locks were they were a turnoff to me. I didn't like the look. It just wasn't my personal aesthetic. So as the years went on, and I think that a lot of times when you go natural or when you lock your hair, throughout the years you go through transformations and you go through seasons and you go through processes, and not just, appearance-wise, but in your mind. And so it's kind of like Marcus Garvey said, don't remove the kinks from your hair, but remove them from your brain. And so a lot of people do go into natural hair or locking still with some of the same straight hair mentality that they had. But anyway, so over time, over the years, I started to develop an appreciation for thicker size locks. I started to develop an appreciation for freeform locks, actually, which is something else that was a turnoff to me at one time in my journey. I did not like the look of locks that were quote-unquote messy, all in the roots and everything, that weren't perfectly groomed, and I didn't like thick locks, especially on women. But like I said, over the years, that changed. And so I decided I wanted mine thicker. Some people have asked me, did you combine your locks because, you had damage? And I'm telling you this straight up. This is the honest to goodness truth. I, to this day, 8 years of wearing my hair in locks, have never had a lot to fall out. I've never had a lot to break off. Okay, now I've done some crazy stuff to my locks that, where I've cut some, or whatever, did, some stupid things. But as far as like just having them just fall out of my head or just snap off midway and all that, I have not experienced that. So no, I did not combine my locks because of any type of damage or anything, because some people think that latching your hair is going to cause damage and they're going to break. No. So anyway, I combined my locks because I wanted a thicker look. So my locks right now are all different sizes. Okay, this is a very, very thick one here. Okay, well, not, compared to the way that they were, this is pretty thick. I have another one here that's, I think it's really, really thick. This is a thick one here, pretty thick size. Okay, and at one time I wanted all of my locks to be this size, but I've become comfortable with, the fact that some are really thick, some are like a medium size. And I even have some way back here at the nape area that are like the size that they were when I first started. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, see how skinny that is? So I left some of them really, really small the way they were when I first started. See how small that is? So this is, if I had left my locks the way that they were, and didn't combine them, this is the size that pretty much all of my locks would be. So, some people were concerned and they saw how thick my locks were. They saw how thin they started and how thick they are now. And they were thinking, oh, I want braid locks, but I don't want my locks to get really thick. I want them to stay thin. And yours started out thin and now they're thick, And so the reason for that is because I manually combined them. I, twisted some together and let them solidified together. So this is actually the result. You can actually see this at the end. See, it's two. But this is the result of some locks having been twisted together. You can't even tell. They just grew together. So those of you that are starting out wanting braid locks, but you have that aesthetic of wanting them small, then you can start them as small as you want. I do in the ebook kind of specify those that maybe shouldn't go too small and, that sort of thing. But, yeah, you don't have to, yours don't necessarily have to be as thick as mine. This is a result of a decision that I personally made later on down the line in my locking journey. So hopefully that answers that question and eases your mind up a bit about size and everything, and why my locks are thicker now than they typically were when I first started. Okay, if you have any questions about that, then feel free to contact me and let me know. Okay, till next time, bye for now.